Okay, so picture this. You're standing in one of the most famous urban places on Earth.
Mhm.
To your left, you've got all the high-end luxury stores, Prada, Gucci, the works.
Right.
And to your right, you have the Pacific Ocean, turquoise water, and a history that goes back, I mean, literally centuries. You're in Waikiki.
Yep.
And usually when we think of Waikiki, what's the first thing that comes to mind? The barrier to entry. It's the cost, right?
It is the universal assumption. I mean, Hawaii consistently ranks as one of the most expensive vacation spots in the entire country.
Oh, absolutely.
You think of the flight, the resort fees, the $20 cocktails with a little umbrella. It's just a place where you feel like you have to surrender your wallet.
Exactly. But today, we are going to flip that script. We're looking at this really interesting stack of research travel guides, historical archives, visual databases, and some of these specific Waikiki without your wallet itineraries.
I love that name.
And they all claim you can unlock the city's secrets without spending a dime. So the mission of this deep dive is to test a hypothesis. Is the free layer of the city not just a budget option, but maybe the superior, more authentic experience?
It's a really compelling argument. The
Oh.
sources we're looking at suggest that when you strip away the transaction,
Mhm.
the cost, you remove a barrier between you and the culture.
You stop being a consumer.
You stop being a consumer and you start being a participant. And that connects directly to the concept of aloha.
That word gets thrown around so much. It's on dashboard bobbleheads, it's on napkins,
Everywhere.
But our sources point out something I honestly didn't know. It's not just a slogan. It's a legal requirement.
This is one of my favorite details in the research. Aloha is actually written into the Hawaii Revised Statutes.
Hmm.
The law literally defines the aloha spirit.
Wow.
It describes it as the coordination of mind and heart. But the key thing for us today is that the statute defines aloha as something that is lived and shared, not something that is bought or sold.
So, by definition, if you're buying a pre-packaged Aloha experience in some tour, you might actually be stepping away from the legal definition of the concept.
Precisely. The transaction changes the interaction.
Yeah.
And the whole premise of our deep dive today is that by skipping the expensive stuff, you might actually be getting closer to the real thing, the thing that's literally protected by law.
I love that. Okay, so let's unpack this. We're going to build a kind of no-wallet itinerary. Energy, water, culture, history, impact.
Let's do it.
So let's start with arrival. You land, you get to Waikiki, it's nighttime. The sources describe Kalakaua Avenue, the main strip, not just as a road, but as a stage.
Yeah, it really requires a shift in perspective. Most people walk down Kalakaua looking at the store windows.
Of course.
But if you look at the sidewalk, especially at night, the whole dynamic changes. The research highlights how the avenue just transforms into this continuous open-air performance space. You don't need a ticket because the show is happening right there.
We're talking about the street performers, but this isn't just like someone playing bucket drums for change.
No. Communal. You have singers, incredible fire dancers, magicians, living statues. But what makes it unique is the audience. It's families, it's locals mixed in with tourists, people just leaning against palm trees. It feels less like a commercial strip and more like a global block party.
And right beyond that pavement, you have the ocean. And this is where we need to get a little technical because I think people have a very specific and maybe wrong idea about surfing in Hawaii.
Right. When people think Hawaii surfing, their mind goes straight to the North Shore.
Pipeline.
Exactly. Massive walls of water, danger, adrenaline. And if you go there in the winter, that is what you get. It is frankly terrifying for the average person.
But Waikiki is different.
Completely different. The beach has this unique bathymetry. The shape of the ocean floor creates these long, rolling, really gentle waves.
Which is why the sport actually started there.
Exactly. This is the birthplace of modern surfing. It's where the Olympic medalists and legends like Duke Kahanamoku learned the waves are forgiving. So if you just stand there during golden hour and our photo sources flag this as the absolute peak time visually,
Oh, I bet.
you aren't just watching people surf. You are watching the sport in its original context on the same waves that Hawaiian royalty surfed hundreds of years ago.
Speaking of that golden hour, we have this image in our source file, Diamond Head Sunset. Now, sunsets are free everywhere. What makes this one a specific data point?
It's the composition. You have the silhouette of the crater diamond head framing the shot. You've got the water turning this mix of, turquoise and deep indigo.
Right.
The argument is that this is the million-dollar view. Hotels will charge hundreds of dollars more a night just for a window facing this way. But you can walk down to the sand and get a better angle than the penthouse suite. and it costs zero.
So what if you want to actually get in the water, but you don't have a surfboard and you don't want to rent one? The itinerary lists body surfing. Is that just swimming?
It's a bit more technical than that. There's a specific sandbar near the Royal Hawaiian Hotel that the guides mention. The way the ocean hits it lets you catch the wave's momentum without a board.
Ah.
Pure hydrodynamics. You become the board. It's a very, very distinct feeling, the ocean just pushing you to shore.
And what about under the water? I feel like snorkeling is usually sold as a boat tour. You pay $100, get on a catamaran.
And that's a fine option.
Yeah.
But the geography tells us that Turtle Canyon, which is the famous spot for green sea turtles, is accessible from the shore if you're a strong swimmer and have your own gear.
So the hack is just effort.
Effort and having your own mask and snorkel. If you packed your gear, you can swim out to the exact same reef. You're seeing the same turtles, the Ana that everyone else is. You're just removing the diesel engine and the ticket price from the equation.
I love that. It rewards the adventurous. Okay, let's pivot to culture. This is where I think the tourist trap factor is highest. The luau. It feels almost mandatory.
It does. You feel like you have to go to a luau to see hula.
Right.
And the industry knows that. Luau's are often very expensive, highly produced dinner shows. And they can be fun, but they're often adapted for, Western tastes. Lots of fire, lots of drums, very fast-paced.
So the sources suggest that if you want authenticity, you should actually look for the free shows.
Exactly.
But why is the free stuff more authentic? That seems counterintuitive.
Because the free shows listed, specifically at the Kuhio Beach Hula Mound, are often dedicated to preserving the traditional art form itself, not to selling a dinner package.
The Hula Mound. That sounds like a landmark.
Oh, it's iconic. It's right near the Duke statue. And the setting is key. Torches are lit, sun's going down. The ocean is the backdrop. The dancers here are often from local hula schools, or hula halau. They're performing to share the culture, not just to entertain.
And it's not just watching, is it? I was reading about the interactive part. You can actually take classes.
Yes, and this goes right back to that aloha spirit law. Sharing knowledge is part of the culture. The Royal Hawaiian Center and the Outrigger Reef, they offer these classes. You can learn ukulele, you can learn lahala weaving.
Can you explain lahala for anyone who might not know?
Sure. Lahala refers to the leaves of the pandanus tree. It's a traditional material used for weaving mats, hats, baskets. It's a real craft. And sitting with a teacher to learn the basics gives you a totally different appreciation for the artistry.
And lei making. And I need to get this right. It's pronounced lei, correct?
Correct. And learning to string a lei is profound. In a store, a lei is just a product wrapped in plastic. When you make it, you understand the intention behind it, that the lei is a symbol of affection, not just a necklace.
It connects you. Okay, I want to talk about the music, too. We have a note here about the Royal Hawaiian Band. This blew my mind. This isn't just some hotel lobby band.
Far from it. This is the only full-time municipal band in the United States. And it was founded by King Kamehameha III in 1836.
1836.
It actually predates the overthrow of the Hawaiian monarchy.
So when they play at Kapiolani Park, it's a direct link to the kingdom era.
It is. And Kapiolani Park itself is part of that story. It was a gift from King Kalakaua to his wife, Queen Kapiolani. He dedicated it as a public park for all time. So just sitting on that grass, listening to that band, is engaging with a royal bequest. It's not just a city park. It's a piece of sovereign history.
That context just changes everything. It turns a picnic into a history lesson. And speaking of history, let's talk about the Invisible City. The sources describe a Waikiki historic trail that sounds almost like a scavenger hunt.
It's designed that way to be engaging. If you look down while you're walking, you'll see these bronze surfboard-shaped markers in the sidewalk. There are 25 of them.
Surfboard markers, that's very on brand.
Chuckles. It fits perfectly. But the content is serious. These markers map out the history that the high-rise hotels were built right on top of. You learn about the homes of chiefs, healing stones, the paths of queens.
Elvis, I saw his name on the list.
Yes, Elvis is in there. His connection to Hawaii through his movies and concerts, that's actually a significant part of the modern cultural history. The trail weaves all these threads together. You realize the spot where you're standing to buy a coffee might have been the site of a major historical event.
For the listener who wants to go deeper than a sidewalk marker, the serious history buffs, where do they go? I'm looking at this photo of a helicopter on a roof. Seems out of place.
That would be the U.S. Army Museum of Hawaii. It's at Fort DeRussy. And the building itself is an artifact. It's inside Battery Randolph, which was a massive coastal artillery battery built to defend against battleships.
And it's free.
Completely free. and it is comprehensive.
There were two other sites mentioned, the Moana and St. Augustine by the sea.
Right. The Moana is the First Lady of Waikiki. It was the first true luxury hotel there. They offer a historical tour that takes you back to the steamship era.
And St. Augustine.
St. Augustine by the Sea is a Catholic church, but it has a museum dedicated to St. Damien and St. Marianne Cope. They dedicated their lives to caring for patients with Hansen's disease leprosy on Molokai. It's a very somber, very moving counterpoint to the party vibe on the beach.
Now, what if you want a guide, but you don't want to be in a big group? Our sources mention GPS tours.
Yeah, this is a great modern tool. There are two distinct GPS-guided walking tours you can download. One focuses on the monarchs and chiefs. That's mostly on the Diamond Head side of town.
Where the royalty lives.
Exactly. The other is the Military and Contemporary History Tour, which takes you through Fort DeRussy and that side of the beach.
So you just pop in your earbuds and go.
At your own pace. It's like having a private guide whispering in your ear, but you're still totally independent.
Yeah.
Pause it, grab a coffee, whatever.
Okay, let's talk about escaping the concrete a bit. We mentioned Kapiolani Park for the music, but it's also just a great place to get away from the crowds, right?
It is massive. Wide open lawns, huge shade trees, perfect for a picnic.
Yeah.
But if you want a beach day that's a little less chaotic than the main strip, the recommendation is Ala Moana Beach Park. It's just west of Waikiki. The key feature there is the reef. It has a fringing reef that breaks the waves way out so the water near the shore is dead calm, like a giant saltwater swimming pool.
Perfect for just floating.
And it's a premier spot for sunsets. You see the sun drop right into the water with fewer obstructions than in central Waikiki.
Speaking of night skies, fireworks. I feel like that's usually for special holidays, but Waikiki does things differently.
It's a Friday night ritual every single week. The Hilton Hawaiian Village puts on a massive fireworks display.
And it's
Completely free. But, and here's the insider tip from our sources, do not try to watch it from Kuhio Beach.
Oh, why not? Seems like a logical spot.
It's too far down the curve of the coast. You won't see much. You want to be on the beach in front of Fort DeRussy, or near the Hilton Lagoon, or even over at Magic Island at Ala Moana. That's your front row seat.
Good to know. Friday night, head west. Got it. What about festivals?
Constantly. The event calendar is packed.
Yeah.
You've got Duke's Ocean Fest, which is this huge celebration of ocean sports. You've got block parties where they just shut down the street for food and music. And then there's the Waikiki Spam Jam.
The Spam Jam, I have to ask, is this ironic?
Chuckles. Not at all. It is 100% sincere. Hawaii consumes more spam per capita than anywhere else on Earth.
Really?
Yeah, it goes back to World War II rationing. It was a shelf-stable protein that just got integrated into the local cuisine.
So Spam Musubi isn't a trend, it's history.
It's a cultural staple. And the Spam Jam is a huge street festival dedicated to it. It's quirky, it's fun, and it's very, very local. Going there connects you to the modern local palate in a way a fancy steakhouse just doesn't.
I love that. Okay, I want to pivot to something a little deeper. We've been talking about taking in views, taking in shows, but there's a section in our sources about meaningful impact activities. This seems like a real shift.
It's a significant shift. It's this move towards regenerative tourism, the idea that you leave a place better than you found it. The sources detail things like planting native Hawaiian trees, doing beach cleanups, or helping with reef restoration.
And invasive species removal, right? Why is that so important there?
In an isolated ecosystem like Hawaii, invasive plants can just destroy the water table and choke out the native flora. So when you spend a morning clearing that brush, you are actively helping the island survive.
And restoring ancient fish ponds, that's another one.
Yes, these are hands-on activities. You're getting dirty, you're working alongside locals.
But here's the kicker. It isn't just good karma. The sources mention a pretty tangible incentive.
They do. Engaging in these malama activities, which means to care for, can actually unlock savings. We're looking at data points of $100 to $300 in group savings on tours. Plus, they offer a carbon footprint vacation offset.
So you save money, you offset your flight's carbon, and you do something good. That's a win-win-win.
And honestly, the feedback suggests it's often the most memorable part of the trip. You're not just an observer anymore. You're a participant. You have skin in the game. It deepens your connection to the place immeasurably.
Totally. Now, the sources do also mention that if you want to get out of Waikiki, because sometimes you just want to see the rest of the island, there are private custom tours.
Right. And this is where spending money might actually be worth it. It just comes down to logistics. Driving in Honolulu can be stressful. Parking is a nightmare.
So a private tour is really just paying for the freedom to look out the window.
A private guide just facilitates that seamlessness. It lets you explore the rest of Oahu stress-free.
So let's just summarize what we've built here. We have a vacation where you're watching world-class hula at sunset, swimming in these perfect waves, snorkeling with turtles, learning to weave, listening to a royal band, and walking through history.
And you haven't opened your wallet for any of it.
It really forces us to rethink the whole equation of luxury.
It does. We tend to conflate expensive with exclusive. But in Waikiki, the most exclusive experiences, the ones that connect you to the real soul of the place, are actually inclusive. They're free because, as the law says, the aloha spirit is meant to be shared.
Which brings us right back to that statute. Aloha isn't a commodity.
No. The smile from a laymaker, a perfect wave, the colors of the sunset, these are gifts. When you stop trying to buy them, you actually start receiving them.
That is a beautiful way to put it. So here's the question we want to leave you with today. If the absolute best parts of Waikiki, the energy, the history, the natural beauty are free, does spending more money actually distance you from the authentic experience you went there to find?
Something to think about on your next flight.
Thanks for diving in with us. We'll see you on the next one.